Kentucky Derby.
You're watching Past the Wire TV, the biggest races at the best tracks. From the Kentucky Derby to the Breeders' Cup. The best horse racing coverage is right here on Past the Wire TV.
In racing, bloodlines are kingdoms, and every kingdom needs an heir. Sired by Uncle Mo, Kings Barnes was chosen for greatness. An $800,000 two-year-old built like an empire. He defeated champion Arcangelo on debut, dominated the Louisiana Derby in his third start, and achieved a defining victory in the Grade 1 Stephen Foster. Kings Barnes, where the line of kings continues.
A very good Sunday afternoon to you. I am Big Race Jim. You are watching Past the Wire TV, Sunday morning coffee. A little bit later than normal, but hopefully well worth the wait. Hopefully you had a good, enjoyable weekend so far, watching some good college football, wagering on some horses. Fun day of racing yesterday at Gulfstream with their Pegasus preview day. And we're going to go through a couple of the races. We're going to look at the Harlins Holiday, won by SkippyLongstocking, who just loves to beat up on Grade 3 competition. And then we will look at the stake race that followed and Wolfie's Dynaghost and what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. We'll continue that trend and just kind of looking at it through the lens of pace points, just to kind of familiarize you with that. I still haven't gotten a haircut, so forgive me as I continue to try and straighten my hat out during the show. All right, let's take a look at the pace points for yesterday in race 10, which was the Harlan's Holiday, and we'll pull up the replay here in a second. And interestingly enough, and we'll see it, right? You know, this 5 poster we had on the late fraction, last fraction rank as the best, right? And then we'll get there. Every reason to run on by SkippyLongstocking, and he just didn't, inexplicably. So, you know, interestingly enough, how this race kind of shaped up. But SkippyLongstocking continues to get older, but continues to beat up on that Grade 2, Grade 3 competition. But you know, you throw him into the deep end of Grade 1 waters, and he comes up flat time and time again. But another victory for him against the lower rung of the stakes competition. But let's take a look. Con Campagna, we had ranked tops, Hold My Bourbon as well, and Poster 1, 2, 3. So again, like I've been explaining for the last couple of weeks, this isn't necessarily saying that the 7 is going to be in first, the 1 is going to be in second, and the 5 is going to be in third out of the gate and through the first quarter, first half of the race, right? It's just our estimation based on a variety of different factors that we outlined in a video at pastthewire.com/pacepoints or pastthewire.com. There's a pace points tab right at the top. Click that. There's a video that explains all of the different factors and intangibles that we put into coming up with this ranking. But again, it's not saying that Con Campagna is going to be first, Hold My Bourbon second, Poster third, right? Or just we think these 3, SkippyLongstocking 4, these 4 horses, 3, 4 horses are going to be up on the lead early and determining that early pace. And then again, not necessarily saying that Poster ranked 1 in the last fraction, 4, the classic course ranked 2nd, catalytic ranked 3rd. Not saying that Poster's going to finish 1st, classic course going to finish 2nd, catalytic's going to finish 3rd, just because they're ranked 1, 2, and 3 as in our estimation as being the best closers in the race. It is just saying who we think is going to be finishing best, doing the best running towards the end of the race. And again, it all depends kind of too how the early parts of the race set up. And, that's kind of where SkippyLongstocking, may have had an advantage, as you see here with this late fraction rank of 6, but flew off the turn in the lead, and was able to hang on. So we'll take this down, and then we will share the replay, and we'll see how that all shook out.
Off in the Harlins holiday. Far outside, Con Compania broke running. So did SkippyLongstocking, and moving down the rail, the gray Hold My
like
Bourbon
we said,
move. Hold My
7
Bourbon
should
to the
be
top. Far outside,
7 would be up there. The 1 would be up there.
Longstocking, he's an early 3rd. 4th and ridden is Catalytic ahead of Classic, of course.
Right, so pretty much to our estimation, those horses that were expecting to be in the mix early and up front are on there, right? Hold My Bourbon, really gunned it from the rail, and obviously the tactic there was to try and take them as far as he possibly could. And when you're going 22 and 4 to the quarter, and then let's see what this half mile time was. Yeah, just under 46 flat. You don't have much hope. I don't think, even at a mile and a 16th, and they're already starting to gain on him. And now you see SkippyLongstocking is still sitting pretty chilly there. Catalytic's already in a all-out drive. Poster, really had like a good jump there, but went a little bit wide. SkippyLongstocking, really got the jump on him there and was able to, put a half a length on him. And, really, Poster should have done everything to go by. So pretty inexplicable as to why that didn't happen. But again, you think you came around that turn, right, and was able to navigate that turn pretty well and find a spot between horses where Poster had to go into the 5 or 6 path, and that was the difference. That was the difference in the race ultimately. So again, you're looking at this, you have to look at the pace points, and I'll take this down here so we can pull the pace points back up, and we can see. Oh, come on. There we go. So you can see, right? The 1 flew out of there from the rail and just kind of gunned it, and got 3/4 of a mile in and kind of crapped out. Catalytic put in a little bit of a bid, but just kind of flattened. Con Campagna, also put in a little bit of a bid, but we didn't have him marked as much of a closing threat. So that late run was not much sustained at all, and he crapped out. So SkippyLongstocking, like I said, coming and finding a way through that turn to not be so wide as Poster was really the difference in that race. Still, though, I think Poster should have been able to go by. Unfortunately, for my tickets, he did not. But take nothing away from Skippy Longstocking. The old veteran gets it done again. But again, it's just an opportunity to look at it kind of in real time. And, like I've been saying, from week to week, it's easy for us to look back at it 24 hours later after the race has already happened and say, look, here's how to use pace points. But it is a good exercise to see how well these have been shaping up, especially in these stakes races over the last couple of weekends, where we can really nail in the early pace of the race. And that allows you to kind of envision how things at the back end of the race are going to set up. So again, I think, with a little bit of additional thought, with a little bit of handicapping through your normal process with the PPs and whatnot, I think you can ultimately land on some of these horses that we've talked about. And again, they're not super far-fetched horses either, right? Poster was 2-1, SkippyLongstocking. Poster went off at I don't have it up anymore. What were the final odds? He was 3-2, and SkippyLongstocking was second choice at 2-1, right? So it's not like we're uncovering these super long shot bombs here, but still you are able to decipher how the early part of a race is going to set up, which is ultimately going to allow you to better envision how the late part of a race is going to set up, and it's going to land you on more properly and more successfully structured tickets. So I thought this was another good example of just how to use that and apply it to your normal handicapping process. Take a look here at race 11, the Fort Lauderdale, and we'll pull up this replay as well once we look through it here real quick. So Beach Gold, Wolfie's Dynaghost, Major Dude, Steel Sunshine, early pace setters. It's how we envisioned it setting up. And again, right, like turf racing's tough too, right? Because a lot of times the main answer that we're trying, or the main question that we're trying to answer is the front runner going to take them all the way around and be able to slow it down enough to take them all the way around, or is it going to set up for a late runner? And I think that's the biggest question. And a lot of times we can answer that question by understanding how the early part of the race is going to set up. But looking at this, what sticks out to me looking at this? Cugino at 5-2 being not ranked super high early, being not ranked super high late. I would give that horse a much harder look, especially at low odds, if that was a horse that I wanted to put some money behind, or include on a ticket and increase the cost of a multi-race wager. That just jumps off the page at me with that, right? And I think there were a few races last year or earlier this year when like Sierra Leone was coming off of a layoff. Excuse me. I think one of his first starts of the year, perhaps. And John, myself, and Eddie C were just starting to play around with our data and starting to get it ready for prime time. And Sierra Leone's late kick compared to this last fraction rank compared to some of the others in the rest of the field didn't look all that great based on all of the stuff that we consider. And the horse didn't run that great that day. So there are certain things that stick out to me. And obviously I've used this a bunch more than most, obviously. So just sharing that as a couple of things that would stick out to me just at an initial first glance. Cugino, super low odds. People are going to be backing this horse. Middle of the road, first fraction rank, middle of the road, last fraction rank would give me a little bit of pause, and I would have to dig into the PPs a little bit more, and would not just blindly trust this horse, is how I interpret that. So let's take a look. The 5, Beach Gold, Wolfie's Dynaghost, the 8, Major Dude, Steel Sunshine. Let's drop this. Let's see how those stacked up with the early pace.
They're at the post. And
better view. There we go. Much better.
Runners away in the Fort Lauderdale. From the outside, Quattro Cento away quickly and moving for the early advantage. But here's the favorite, Wolfie's Dynaghost. And he's
all right.
right off
So
the lead.
Wolfie's Dynaghost up there.
The first time. It's Wolfie's Dynaghost who will set the tempo in a bid to make all. He leads 3 parts of a length. Quattro Cento applies some pace pressure in second. This is great news for Cugino, who gets a box seat to the leader in third. From fourth, it's Chasing the Crown, working 3 ahead of Divine Propos. Then it's a length and a half to the rail, and Siege of Boston, who's racing together with Beach Gold. The early trailer is Steel Sunshine. Around the first turn,
as we can see,
Dynaghost posts a quarter in 22-1. Used hard in the early
Wolfie's Dynaghost. I mean, I would have thought, he ended up setting a world record or whatever in this race, but I would have thought that this would have been, a little bit too swift. But
that's the 8 of them through a 45 and 4/2 mile. They have less
apparently
than
the turf was super firm.
Odds on favorite,
so
Dynaghost continues to lead.
You had Wolfie's Dynaghost up there, and he's obviously doing quite well to control this early pace. You see Cugino there, the 6 is kind of losing touch with the top of the field, which
off the turn and the
is an issue.
Rain shaking at Wolfie. Wolfie's Dynaghost has to hold off Cugino, who's off cover and charging hard. 1/8 of a mile to go. Wolfie's Dynaghost
put in a decent little run
and tries to turn back and on running Cugino. Wolfie's Dynaghost is still there. Wolfie's Dynaghost 1 1/8 down the road in the Fort Lauderdale. He wins by a length. Cugino with the no excuse trip. He was second. Up for third was Beach Gold. Then Chasing the Crown at 1:43 and 2.
Let's take this down and let's throw this back up. There we go. So, was this race perfect? No. I would say it didn't nail it quite like the last one. Major Dude scratched. So, when you have an early pace setter like that, based on our estimation, maybe that throws things for a little bit of a loop. And admittedly, that's probably a little bit of a hurdle with the data at the moment, right? Like it doesn't update once there's scratches, right? So Major Dude is ranked 3rd in the early pace, and whether he runs or not, it's not adjusting anything after the scratches come out. So you just have to be able to be kind of flexible and fluid with that on your own and make an estimation. So, Wolfie's Dynaghost kind of controlled that pace throughout, set a world record, which is it is what it is. That's fine. the early pace of this, wasn't perfect. That's for sure. I thought Cugino probably ran a little bit better down the stretch than we were giving him credit for on this ranking. But again, you're thinking, perhaps does Wolfie's Dynaghost have the ability to control this race out of the gate? And if you thought he did, he was the favorite, so perhaps plenty of people did. Then the first fraction rank is helpful to you, and then that works. Who else was in the mix there? The one Steel Sunshine ran okay late. The 10 also ran okay late. Was this race perfect in outlining everything that was going to happen? Of course not. It's never going to be 100% perfect. The race prior, the Harlan's Holiday, I thought nailed it pretty well early and late. This one wasn't as spot on, but again, if you're looking at it in sections, right, and you're using it to just kind of envision how the race is going to set up in your mind, perhaps it leads you to shortening tickets, not spending as much money on spreading in various points. And as far as I'm concerned, that's probably worth its weight in gold, really. So interesting way to kind of dissect a lot of this data, and I think there's plenty of different ways to use it and utilize it. And I've just been explaining, really how I use it to think about how the early part of the race is going to set up, and then allow myself to envision what the late stages of the race is going to look like, and then tie that into the last fraction rank and see if I believe in any of the horses are going to be in a position where, if they're ranked pretty high, 1, 2, 3, that they're going to be in a position to utilize that high rank to run down or run away from the competition, of course, and along with a lot of my other handicapping processes. So yeah, that's it. Just another couple of races I wanted to show the group, get you thinking, get you curious in pace points, and just kind of build this sort of database of what we're trying to accomplish and educate you on, so that when you do get interested, if you are interested and want to purchase it, that you aren't just blindly purchasing it. You're purchasing it with a little bit of punch behind it, so you know what to do, what to look for, and how to incorporate it into your normal handicapping process. All right, I think we'll leave it there for this week. I'm going to be off next week. We'll be at Oaklawn Park, me and my dad, my family, taking in the races on Sunday at Oaklawn. We'll be there from Friday through Monday. We're staying right at the track in the new hotel there. We got trackside view from the hotel, so that should be cool. We'll be at the track watching the races, having fun on Sunday, but we'll be watching Friday afternoon when we get there, Saturday, and all day Sunday. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll be off, no show from me next week. I think John might be filling in with some additional content, so looking forward to that. Merry Christmas. Have a great, happy, healthy Merry Christmas with your family. Hopefully You get to relax a little bit, enjoy the races. Sounds like they're moving that Santa Anita card to Sunday, the 26th to the 28th. So you got a couple extra days to prepare for those big stakes races. So have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you guys all in the next couple of weeks.
Go.
It's simplification and Javier.
Look at these two juveniles going at it, and it is Forte.
It is Forte in front. Forte on to victory here in the Grade 1 hopeful.
The two of them coming down to the wire. Forte on the outside, and Forte to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Forte starts to gather in the top horses. This is going to be very close, but the champion prevails. Forte wins.
Here comes journalism, here comes sovereignty, and they square off, heading to the final. Sovereignty wins the Derby!
You're watching Past the Wire TV. Hit that like button and subscribe to Past the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.